Okay, we're recording. All right, we're gonna make my grandmother's pie crust recipe. And it's right here. I don't know if it'll zoom in or not, but I will type it into the info bar. So we're gonna start. Oh, you know what I didn't get? A cup measure for the flour.
Ah, that might be important.
I actually have 2 of those too. I have at least 2 of everything, I think. And I use the back of a sharp knife to level.
Oh, okay.
If we can get it open. So, go like that. And then off the top.
Okay.
So you have a level cup full. Let me see how far this picks up over. I might have to come up a little bit. Gonna come up a little bit. If your sister hadn't tightened it down so bad you can't see anything. There we go.
That wasn't enough.
Wow.
Well, sorry.
He's starving.
The poor baby. He's barely 16 pounds.
So you have those. And there's a teaspoon there.
Okay.
If you want to use it, I just do.
That's how I tend to do stuff.
That's about a teaspoon, and you pour that in there.
I will go ahead and use it though, just.
And you sift it in. And so your flour and salt in your bowl. Get that out of the way. And then, done with the salt. We need Crisco. My grandmother swore by Crisco, and I keep my Crisco or shortening or whatever in the refrigerator. So that saves that whole step of chilling the dough. I don't chill no dough. My grandmother's recipe is 2/3 cup of Crisco plus 2 tablespoons. But on this handy dandy pampered chef thing, I figured out what the 2/3 plus 2 tablespoons is in milliliters, and it's 180 milliliters. So I didn't get a knife or anything to scoop the Crisco out. Man, I'm not prepared. Try this again. He's pitiful.
He is a pitiful kitty cat.
He's upset because all the guys left.
Oh.
And I know some people measure their Crisco or shortening in water. To me, that just makes a nasty mess. It's all good.
Well, then you have to figure in the water that it doesn't come out, so.
Well, they say it just pours off, but I've never had that luck. And if you push on this, it's so old, it'll move. So you might have to realign once you get your shortening in there.
Okay.
I need a new one, but I don't know any pampered chef people.
I will keep an eye out because I think that there's some at school.
Oh, okay. And then I just make sure it's in there good. The kid down the street has had his rap music on since 9 o'clock this morning.
Oh no.
180 milliliters. Come on. There. Okay, we're at the right line. And then I just lay the knife down flat ways and then cut it off. And then because this is a pampered chef, you just go like that and then scrimp it off. See, I should have been a pampered chef, would you? Oops. I'll give you that.
Okay, 180 you said.
Yeah, 180 milliliters, and go with the red markings.
Okay.
When the arrow's pointing up this way, it's your dry ingredients, and the other way, it's your thing. And my sister's deprived, so I've got to find her a cutter like this because she's got one like this that I've done a bad report on. Anyway, we'll get her fixed up. I know where to get one. And you just start cutting it in, real careful. You're just cutting it in. This is not a stirring operation. And occasionally you'll have to wipe the shortening back off into the flour. because you're basically wanting to gently put this in. The key to the pie crust is you don't want to work it too much, because if you work it too much, once you get it mixed, that's when it turns it to leather. Turns it to leathery substance that's no good. And you just cut it in until there's no great big large pieces of shortening. So you got a consistency, something like this. It doesn't stick together yet because you don't have enough moisture in there. That's where the 1/3 cup of water we're going to end in the last will do. But it's crumbly. You don't want any great big pieces of shortening. You want to use this one? Or are you going to try yours?
It's holding so far.
Okay. I'll quit picking on you, baby.
Got my deformed pastry cutter.
Yeah, we're done with the Crisco. Actually, we might want to put a little bit on the table to keep the pie crust from sticking.
Okay.
I'm going to take the cookbook away, and I guess my pastry blender, and I'll get us a couple forks, because you mix the water in with a regular table fork.
Okay.
So that's where that's from there. See, just regular, I'm going to eat dinner kind of fork. And I've pre-measured the water so that we'd have it over here so we didn't have to make a trip. 1/3 of a cup of cold water. Yep, that looks good.
Yeah, except for that lump right there on the side
it
of
was
my...
hiding. But you make a little well in the middle. And some people say just pour a little bit of it at a time, but I always just put the whole 1/3 of a cup of water in. And you just kind of stir and fold to the middle. And it'll start to come together. You might actually need a little bit more water. Uh-oh. And I find that the water amount does change by the season. Yeah, we're gonna need a little bit more. I'll just get some and then we'll add a little bit. Usually, if I just slap the 1/3 cup in there, it does it. Hey, come on!
I'm trying to escape.
That didn't work out before you did it, Tesla.
Now, you just came in. You gotta feed me again. Tesla says it's the rules. Anybody goes out of the house and they come back in, he's gotta be fed.
It's like a toll.
Yeah. The toll cat will catch you. Just don't want to add, too much all at once, or you'll have too much.
Can always add more. Can't take it out.
That's right.
I think that's something I end up saying with clay way too often.
You're looking for it to come together. I'm going to use a little bit of our water that I brought over for 2 more teaspoons. You just want to get to a point where you don't have a lot of the loose stuff. This is just really, it's because I'm trying to film it. It's being a pain in the neck.
Well, imagine the outdoor humidity affects it too.
Yeah.
How's this doing?
You're looking pretty good. When you get where you're not getting a lot, you can, if you touch it and you still have a bunch in the bottom, see, it's still just a little dry, not a lot. Yours is looking pretty good. If you can get it to bunch together in a ball, you're probably there. You just don't want to handle it a lot. I'm just going to let that work in there. Yeah, see how that mushes to a ball and stays? We're good. We don't want to handle it much more. We'll have a rubberized mess. What I do is I take a little Crisco and I just put it on my table. The key to cleaning up this mess, and the table is clean, we just wiped it, is never put a wet cloth down on this. You get like a biscuit cutter and you scrape off the solids into your compost or trash, whichever you do. And I put down enough flour to where I think it's not going to stick, because you can always grab more flour. It's another one of those things, you know, you can get too much.
Just reach in.
Yep, you can just reach in. And you're going to take half of your ball of dough and just form a ball. And you're going to just squish down. And like I said, you don't want to handle it a lot. And then you're just going to start rolling it. And I flour my roller too. And you just carefully roll it from the center out. I'll move the sharp knife before one of us hurts ourselves.
I'll move these measuring cups out of the way a little bit too.
Yeah, give us more room. More room, more room. And we've already greased the table. We can actually get the Crisco out of the way too. There we go. Now we're talking.
Yeah. Room to roll.
Oh, I forgot to turn the oven on. All right.
Why did yours get so much bigger than mine?
You take your pie plate and you see if you're almost there, and I'm pretty good. What I do,
Mine isn't.
you don't have much more to go though. I just go out a little bit, start here, then roll back that way once, and you'll probably have it. Is I just carefully gather the pie crust up, and I roll it on the thing, and don't press when you're rolling it across. When you get part way there, you just lift up, get your pie plate underneath it, and then roll it back over so it just lets loose. And don't push your pie crust down in. That's not the movement you need. You lift from the edge and slide it back. And lift from the edge and slide it back. So it fits down in there by itself. You don't push. Just slip and let it slide. Slip and slide. That was something you did in the yard. Okay, and the parts where I'm not quite, I've got some issues. That's what the cup of just plain water is for. What you do is you can take a little water and moisten it. And it's just like clay at this point. And here you've got it where this little flap is. You just add a little water and push this down on it. And it seals it up just like clay.
Cool.
Now here where I'm missing a bunch, I'll moisten it. And I'll do a skin graft. I'll come over here and cut a little bit off. Just lay it on here like this.
I'll borrow your knife here because I gotta do a section too.
And then you just kind of didn't get any moisture underneath it, so it's not wanting to grab. Because if you think about this, this is basically the glue you make for your kid, or that clay that's salt and flour and water. And that's basically what you're doing, is you're just like that, and get it smoothed out enough to where it won't pick up. There's another little piece there. And then you're going to trim away from the edge here, but you're going to come out, lift this up, and you'll come out maybe a 1/4 of an inch away, and just do little sections at a time. That I'm not going to worry about too much because it's pretty thin. Bless you, Tessa. So then you got this here. I'm gonna get a little piece because that's driving me nuts. Okay. Like so. So you got like that. You're gonna put your pie filling in. Let me get one of these from over here. Okay, and this is the apples that we mixed up earlier, and you can see where there's liquid in the bottom now. What you're gonna do is just give it a little bit of a stir here. Get that cinnamon goodness all over the place. Alright, so it's nice and moist all over all the apples. And then just pour it in. Don't worry about where they're going as you pour in. You can fix them once they're all in there. And just get as much of this stuff out as you want, because you got to have all that tapioca to, you know, like you said earlier, Robin, to thicken it up. Okay, and then I just kind of push the apples around.
It's got good and juicy.
Yep, that's why I always do my filling up before I start on the crust, so they can have time to do their own little thing. And so now we're done with this dish. And I'm going to wash my hands real quick. My water is draining out.
Okay.
I'll be glad when we finish the kitchen remodel, so I'll have a new sink, I think. Because all these replacement drains just don't seem to fit.
Oh.
Then, before you do your top crust, you're going to dot the top of your pie with a tablespoon of butter. So, a tablespoon. Of course, it's cold butter, but that's okay. That's what you need really for something like this. Just dot it around here. And you don't have to, you know, cover the top with butter. It's going to melt and be all in it and be good. Okay.
A tablespoon, you said?
Yeah, a tablespoon. And you take all your leftover little bits, put them back in with the other. We're going to move the pie over real quick. This is where you have to be real careful, because you don't want to waste that pie crust, but you also don't want to work it too much, and that's where a lot of people have trouble. So I just push it into it 2 or 3 times, and then I'm ready to go. Make another pie crust on the table here. If that falls and makes a loud noise, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, got a ball shape again. Whoop. You want to get it out roughly to the size of your pie again. Your pie is your gauge. I just pick the whole thing up and set it kind of over top and see if I'm big enough. Alright. You want to make sure you have pie crust that goes all the way around. This will be just slightly bigger. Like that. And you're going to need vent holes. You can do whatever design you want in the top. I just do kind of a butterfly like my grandmother always did. And then you're going to want to roll it on your pin so the cuts roll with it, because if you try to go the other way, it's just going to tear it. That makes sense. Wait a minute before we go there. We have to wet the crust so they'll stick together. Almost missed it. Just gonna wet your crust around. And this is cold water, never hot. Hot water seems to turn it to a slime that nobody wants to touch. Okay, now I can do it. I'll let you have the water a little closer. Okay. And I'm gonna get it. Flop it over, like so.
Oh, vent holes.
Vent holes. Now, we left it about 1/8 of an inch longer the last time. And then this time we're gonna come just a little bit farther. We'll get the butter wrapper off there. And you're gonna have leftover bits. And my grandmother would take like softened butter and she would just spread some softened butter onto on these pieces and then sprinkle them with cinnamon and sugar and then bake them for like 10 minutes. And that was just a treat for us kids waiting on the pie to keep us from saying, is it done yet? Is it done yet? Or she would like re-roll it and make those little spirals. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
The little cinnamony spirals.
Mom sometimes made little jam pies.
Yeah. And you're going to lift it up and your second layer is going to be there. And it's going to start to grab where you've moistened it and you press down on there so that they're becoming one piece. But then you fold the top over the edge of the bottom one.
Yeah.
All the way around. And that seals it up and you're going to give it a pinch. And I just do that all the way around. Push it back onto the... So you're now on the inside of the pie tin. Lift it up, squish it, and then push it down into the pie pan. This is the only time you do a lot of pushies. Fold it over. And this is in real time, folks. I'm not going to do any speed up or anything. Then, to get the pretty edge that Grandma always did, push 2 fingers here. And if you have long fingernails, I'm sorry, you're going to have some weird edging. But you push 2 fingers here, and then you're just going to push in. Move your 2 fingers over, push in. 2 fingers over, push in. So there's always 3 fingers like this. And you can go closer together, but it's just a pushing from the outside in. And that's how you get the pie crust shape. Like your grandma's or your great grandma's. My grandma would have been over 100 years old now.
Okay, so 2 fingers on the inside, 1 pushing in.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And you're just pushing in. You don't move these 2. You leave them steady and push in here. And that's it. Ta-da! Now they're ready for the oven. And I will go turn the oven on because I'm a bonehead and forgot to do that earlier. And you bake them, if I remember right, 425. But I'm going to look at the minute tapioca because it tells you how long on the back of that. Nope, 400 degrees. I would have had it wrong. 400 degrees for 45 minutes to an hour. It depends on, like I've got a glass dish and you got a metal, so one of them might cook faster than the other, but it won't affect them. But we'll wait for that to come up to temp before we put them in. So that is how you make pie crust. Bye.